Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September the 15th. We'll begin at approximately 10:05. We'll be joined by Alabama A&M head coach Sam Shade. For 10:15, we'll be joined by Eddie Robinson with Alabama State. At 10:25, will be Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. 10:35 will be Raymond Woody with Bethune-Cookman. 10:45 Central will be James Colsey with Florida A&M. 10:55, we'll be joined by Grambling State's Mickey Joseph. At 11:05, we'll have Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. 11:15, we'll have Coach Terrell Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. At 11:25, we'll be joined by Coach Tremaine Jackson with Prairie View A&M. 11:35, we'll have Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University. At 11:45, will be Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern. And at 11:55, we'll be joined by Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State. We ask that you please use the raise your hand feature to get your questions in the queue for our coaches. We also ask that you please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. If you do see there are several several hands already raised there in the queue, we ask you please limit your questions to one initial question. If we've got time allotted in our coaches' availability, we will circle back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, we'll begin here in approximately 4 minutes. Appreciate your patience. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Shade with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach, and as always, we appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Tennessee State.
Well, we were in Nashville against Tennessee State, the Legacy Series Classic, and we were very fortunate to come out of that ball game with a win, 23-21. First half of that game, we go into halftime down 21-13. We come back out and defensively did a really good job in the second half, limiting them to 0 points in the second half, and us scoring and also kicking a field goal that ended up being the difference in the ball game. So a lot of respect for Tennessee State coach Reggie Barlow. They did a great job. They fought the entire ball game, and we were fortunate to come out with the win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach, congrats on a second win in a row. Bulldog Nation is even more excited after that.
All right. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So my question for you this week is, you mentioned already about how you guys held Tennessee State scoreless in the second half. You guys were also able to be successful in week one in the second half. So my question is, what is the next step in the development for you guys as a staff to get the defense to have more of the same effort in the second half as you do in the first?
Well, like I told the team this morning, we've got a lot of work to do. Like I said, we were very fortunate to come out of that ball game with a win, but we just got to put 4 quarters of football together defensively, but also offensively, because we jumped out 10-0, and then we just kind of shut down for the next quarter and a half, and then we picked back up in the second half. But we just got to find a way to put 4 quarters of good football together, and we haven't quite done that yet. But we're still working on it, and got time to work on it this week before we play Lane.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
All right, thank you.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning. Doing well. Well,
I was going to ask, I usually ask about numbers and team stats, but I want to ask about the adjustments that you made in the second half, basically defensive wise. And what type of tendencies did you see with Tennessee State offensively?
Well, they just were able to run the ball on us in the first half. They were able to get to the edges, a lot of outside zone stuff. And, we had guys got cut off. We had guys that weren't quite in their gaps when they needed to be in their gaps. And we felt like we did a better job with that in the second half to limit their running game.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Well, Coach, I can ask you more questions. So, Coach, Quad Brown, what's his status? Because I know he didn't finish the game.
Right. He left the game with an ankle injury. Kind of got his ankle rolled up late in that ball game, and so right now his status right now is undetermined right now. But we'll know more later on today with his status. But Eric Hanley came in and was 2 for 2. 2 completions and really just, did a good job of finishing that game out for us.
All right, Coach. And lastly here, I'll ask this too. The distribution of the receivers was really, really good this week. Talk a little bit about Trevante Abner specifically, though, his contributions as a tight end having 100 yards.
Trevante Abner had a big day, had 6 catches for 104 yards. A lot of yards after contact. When you watch him, all those passes weren't down the field. Some of them were underneath routes that he caught the ball and turned up and got a lot of yardage, yards after contact. So, big time player for us at that tight end position, and did a good job also in the running game blocking. So, glad to have him on our side.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Right, thank you.
Question goes to Ty Miller.
Good morning, Coach Shade. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. After a big win over Tennessee State, on paper, our people have you heavily favored to beat Lane College. What are your concepts on the trap game, and what will you tell your players before this game against a team that you are expected to win, to beat?
Well, we barely won this last game against Tennessee State, and we're preaching right now that we've got to find a way to play 4 quarters of good football, and we haven't done that yet this season. So we're still, working and searching towards that perfect game, that excellent game, so to speak. So I don't think our guys will be overlooking Lane College at all, because we understand we got a lot of work to do in order to be the team that we want to be. We've got to put in a lot of work to do that, and we don't get another opportunity to go out and put together a complete game until we play Lane on Saturday. So definitely won't be overlooking them.
Andrew, can I ask another one?
Yes, sir.
Sam, also in terms of what you need to work on going into this game, what are the most glaring needs for your team starting offensively?
Well, offensively, we didn't run the ball well this past ball game. We had less than 100 yards rushing, so we've got to get back to being able to run the football and be more balanced. We passed for a lot of yards in this last ball game, but we do understand that we want to be able to run the ball, because we actually, time of possession was heavily in Tennessee State's favor. They held the ball 10 more minutes than we did, and that's not the type of ball that we want to play. We were just very fortunate that in the second half our defense, showed up, and we also caused 2 turnovers. That was the difference in that ball game. But offensively, we got to be able to run the football.
All right. Thank you, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Porter.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Great. Congratulations on your second win, man. The Bulldogs are really getting it done defensively in the second half. You guys did a tremendous job. How are you keeping that positive energy going, that Bulldog type of football going as you get into this week's game against Lane College?
Well, like I said earlier, our guys understand that we were very fortunate to come out of that Tennessee State ball game with a win, and we've got a lot of work to do in so many areas. Obviously, we got to be able to run the football better on offense. Defensively, we've got to be able to stop the run better than we did on Saturday, and then also we're getting too many penalties, too many penalty yards that we're giving up. So we've got a number of things that we've got to work on and improve on, and so our guys, our coaching staff is going to really harp on all those things this week in practice, and we're going to push our guys to go out and play better for 4 quarters and not play maybe 2 quarters of football or 2.5 quarters of football. We've got to play 4 quarters. If we want to be the type of team that we want to be, we've got to be able to play better and limit the penalties that we had.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck this week against Lane.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach. That was a big victory.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Coach, 3rd down conversion rate, 3 of 12 throughout the game. How do you go about correcting that moving forward?
Well, I'm glad you said that. That's something I left out of the last question. Yes, that's an area that we've got to improve on. We improved on it in the Alcorn game, and then we fell back into not being good on 3rd down. Like you said, 3 of 12. That's not good enough for us on offense if we want to be the type of team we want to be. And then even defensively, they were 7 of 15 on 3rd down, and that's really close to 50% for them. So we got to improve on both sides of the ball on 3rd down. So we'll get some extra work in on 3rd down this week in practice. That's really all we can do is, just put ourselves in those situations in practice, and then be able to carry that over into the ball game on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Coach Shade, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good week.
Thank you. Next, we go over to Alabama State and Coach Robinson. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going today?
Doing great, Coach. As always, thank you for taking time to join us. And if you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Miles.
Yep. So we had our home opener against Miles College this week. Got off to a good start. Was able to drive down the field, had some explosive plays to a couple of our receivers. The guys played hard. I think we were up maybe 31-6 or 31-3 at the half. Didn't get a whole lot going in the second half. Played a lot of guys. Give Miles College a lot of credit. They came out and Coach Gould, they ran the football a little bit better than we would have liked, and they were able to drive down and score. So the final score, I think, was 37-9. But all in all, it was a good day. We had a really good crowd, home crowd there for our first game, and we were excited about it. And so now we go into our bye week, so we want to make sure we win the bye week. Want to be great at academics, great at getting healthy, those type of things as we get ready for the SWAC opener in a couple weeks, going down to Tallahassee against FAMU.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach, I'll ask about FAMU next week, but what I want to ask you this week is, what are the things in specifically, as you guys have played 3 games, that now that you're on your bye week, what are the things in specifics that you guys as a team, as a staff, that needs to improve as a whole? Broad brush here.
Yeah, the big brush, I think the obvious one is the penalties. We're not bad. I think we're averaging around 7.5 or 7.8 a game, but we want to get that to like 4 or less. Like that's the goal. And a lot of them, I think Coach Barnett, the offensive coordinator, he calls them sins, self-inflicted negatives. So it's the pre-snap penalties, the things that we can control. We had 3 or 4 in this game. So you get rid of those and you're down to your 4 penalties a game. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And I think just communicating and talking better on defense. A lot of young guys played. A lot of guys played their first college football game. So, the communication in practice as well. Now you got to get that communication in the game. It's been improving each week, so we want to get that to keep moving in the right direction.
All right, Coach, enjoy the bye week, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you today?
I'm great. So you guys did an amazing job on offense and defense. Andrew Body was nearly perfect. He had 4 touchdowns, and then defensively, you had roughly 10 tackles for loss. This FAMU game is probably one of their biggest matchups, SWAC East. So what are you going to do in the off week to make sure that you bring in that same fire and balance when you walk into Bragg Memorial?
Yeah, we'll get back to basics, blocking and tackling. That's what football is all about. So we'll just try to execute at a high level during the off week. Stay healthy. Make sure we catch up on school. Make sure we're winning off the field, win the off the field battle. But I think both teams have a bye week, so we'll both be looking at each other. So we'll have the equal amount of time to prepare. But we play every year, so we know each other. It's not a whole lot of secrets. I think we both know what to expect, and it's going to be a really good game.
Thank you, Coach, and you have a good week.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Donald Ware.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. How you doing?
Doing well. How's it going today?
Doing good. For you, with respect to Andrew Body, is this the season he's currently having? Is this what you envisioned that would happen last year? Because he's ranked in quite a few national statistics in terms of passing yards, et cetera, touchdowns, no interceptions. And then do you ever find yourself thinking, boy, what if we had him last season? What could that season have looked like?
Yeah, I thought about it all summer, but I'm over it now. So I think now we are where we are. And so him and I talked about it a lot. A lot of times we have our plan for life, but God has a bigger plan. So we can't go back and say what would have happened, what should have happened. That's how I kind of live my life. And so right now we're just living in the moment. We're not focused on down the road. We're not focused on yesterday. We're just trying to go out there and win today. That's been our motto all the time. So we just want to have the best Monday we can have. And so as long as we stay in the present, I think it'll be okay. But But to answer your first question, yes. I mean, I felt like him coming over, being familiar with the SWAC, playing in the conference, I thought that he can do those type of things and more. And I think it's not just him. I think the offensive line is playing at a high level, and the receivers are playing at an extremely high level. So we have a lot of playmakers out there. He doesn't have to be great. I mean, he can throw a 10-yard pass and let those guys, make a play for him. I think he's starting to understand that.
All right, I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports. Real quick, I know you talked about Andrew Body, and everybody wants to talk about Andrew Body. With you guys playing lane this week, you were able to play a lot of guys. Can you tell me about some of the younger guys or some of the guys that we don't normally see that jumped out on the screen for you?
Yeah, against Miles College, I think some of the young guys, probably some of those defensive guys, was Amari Hall, safety who played a lot, physical tackler, made some plays. Out on the edge, Vincent Burrell, corner, who was able to stay in there and made a couple tackles. A couple guys covered some kicks. So we had about 8 or 9 freshmen who actually played in the game. So I think those young guys stepping up, getting that opportunity to make plays, and at some point they're going to be key backups, and we don't know, they may end up being a starter before the year's over with. So it was a great job in the second half to get them in there and to watch them compete and to watch them against some live competition and to watch them run to the ball and play hard. That's, if in doubt, just get to the ball, play with a great attitude and great effort. So those guys did that. So we were happy to see that.
All right, Coach. Thank you. You have a good day.
Appreciate it.
To Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Doing good, Doc. How's it going on your end?
I'm doing good. After giving up 52 to UAB in the first game, your defense has settled down, giving up only 7 and 9 points in the last 2 games. Tell me how you feel about your defense right now and going forward.
Yeah, we're putting up some solid efforts. I think even the first game, we were tough, physical, violent. We were all of those things that we want to be, but we just had a lot of mental mistakes just as far as being positioning in zone coverage. So that's the things that we've been working on, communicating, the pre-snap read. We're not as good as we want to be. We want to keep getting better every week. So this is going to be a huge week from a bye week standpoint. We know how efficient FAMU can be offensively. So for us, we got to make sure that we're taking care of us, assignment and alignment. So I think if we can line up right, be where we're supposed to be, and just improve our tackling. And that's to me, a defensive team is like sharpening your sword every day. You have to go out there and improve your tackling daily. So those are the type of things we'll emphasize, and we want to keep getting better each week. We're moving in the right direction, but we're not there yet.
And one more, how you feel about Jalen Jones as receiver? And I think he's more like Andrew Body's a safety net on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, he's a state champion as a point guard out of Ramsey High School in Birmingham. So he has that leadership ability. He's used to being that guy. Got into football late, actually, and so I think his first year or two he was really figuring out what college football was like. But this spring we saw it. I mean, the defenders was, man, this Jalen's gonna be special. He feels it, and just a great kid. Works hard every day. Not a big talker, but just goes out there and plays at a really high level, and he's a big time competitor.
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Get rested.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Next question goes to Charles Porter.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Good morning, how's it going?
Oh, man, it's going great. I tell you, the Hornets really have it buzzing in Montgomery. And incidentally, Ms. Thurston is throwing a little side-eye shade to us because the Hornets are doing so well. How is that energy a lot of people are really, really getting involved. I mean, the city of Montgomery is behind you 100%. How is that energy and that support fueling your program and your team as you go forward?
Yeah, our athletic director always says we're Montgomery's D1 program. And so, you have some schools that are close by, but we're the Division I program in the city of Montgomery. So we want to appeal to everybody. So one way you can do that is to go out there and do well and win and compete at a high level. So that's been the goal for the last couple of years. And so we've had support since I've been here, even from back when I was a student. Coach Markham would always tell us America loves a winner. So I think if you want to get people to come out to the games, you have to win. So That's our competitive drive and nature, is to go out there and win, and the support has been great. So we know it will continue. But for us, we can just control winning today and going out there and putting our best effort on Saturday, and just try to continue winning.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the
Appreciate
upcoming game against Florida A&M.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we go over to Alcorn State and head coach Cedric Thomas. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. Happy to be joined by Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi State.
Yes, sir. Went down to Starkville. What a exciting environment. Really good crowd. Started out a little slow defensively. Gave up explosive. Started to move the ball a bit on offense. Had a critical drop. It could have put points on the board for us, and defensively just couldn't get our bearings enough to just stop them guys. I think they scored maybe on the first 3 possessions. But offense did do a good job of transitioning the football up and down the field. We missed the field goal, and second half things just kind of got away from us. Wanted to play a lot of guys ultimately, but also get out that thing healthy. So just can't say enough about the pride and the fight that those guys had for those 4 quarters. Really good program that we played against, and those guys showed the ultimate sportsmanship on that side. So it was good to get in and get out. Played a lot of guys, and also had opportunity to look at some developmental pieces. So going into this off week, we'll get even healthier and clean up some of the kinks as we go on this 7-game playoff.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach, I know you talked a little bit here just in your opening statement about the bye week and working out some kinks and things of that nature, but sitting at 0-3, and obviously this is not what you guys planned. I mean, nobody really plans to be 0-3, but what are the specific things that you guys need to get cleaned up as you get ready for that next game in Memphis?
Turnovers. Offensively, we got to maintain the possessions. We put defense in some bad situations. Fumble on a 9-yard gain by the running back Tyler Citizen. Had a bubble screen on the edge. Damon Jones, let the ball go. And defensively, just the explosive. We got to communicate a whole lot better. And just do what we asked to do. Just from a preparation standpoint. And so if we clean those things up, we'll be right where we want to be. As a really good football team. The record is who we are. And so guys got to understand that and start with us as a coaching staff and myself, just taking the charge, from that aspect. But we are good enough. Guys are talented, and working. We just got to do those small things because it really matters.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Enjoy the bye week, and we'll talk next week.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, what are some positives that you take away from an experience like this against an FBS school?
Just that environment and being able to communicate and get stops. Some of those guys, man, they could actually score every drive. And just talking to Coach Dan and some of them guys over there, they wasn't calling the dogs off. They 2s and 3s. It's just as hungry and wanted to play. So defensively, we got some stops, got a turnover. Got some hits on the quarterback, and offensively, we did drive the football, moved it around. Offensive line only gave up a sack, I think. And so, some good positives, inside of it. We just got to pull those, going forward and just play complementary football. If we can get all 3 phases going in the right direction consistently, then we'll be right where we need to be.
And, Coach, with the off week this week, when do you transition from working on your program and your team to game planning for Arkansas Pine Bluff?
We'll start looking at those guys maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. We want to still create that mindset as if we got a game on Saturday. So we'll still come in and do the things that we're supposed to do from a game planning standpoint, from a coach's aspect, and we'll bring the guys in. And then Tuesday, we'll go out and we'll start looking at their kicking game and some of their top 3 runs and passes. So we'll be prepared, for those guys. A really good football team. Coach Hampton is doing a really good job. Got to win this Saturday. And so, we can't have We'll spend too much time on us when we got a dangerous team. We got to travel to go play the fourth game on the road also.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So going into this off week, is there any chance, are you going to be doing any type of evaluation as far as for your quarterback spot between Tolbert and your backups?
Now, Jalen, Jalen playing well. He playing at a high level. We'll do some things for the backups to kind of just have some packages ready. We know it's a long season, so we'll definitely get those guys, some reps. But right now, Jalen commands it. Played well. Some of the hidden yardage, not there from, just some of the drops that he had. But we like, him leading us, and he gives us a chance to win every Saturday.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. I know a lot of times when you play those FBS matchups, it's a little rough to see the development of your younger players. But during this particular game, did you see any of your younger players kind of grow up in the moment?
Yeah, we had a running back, that Trey Minor, he carried the football well. It was good to see him, run behind his pass and be violent. Landon Sewell, offensive guard, who just got cleared. He did a really good job, playing in, versus that level of competition. So we had, quite a few guys, that second half that was able to play. And I told the coaches, before we left, everybody's on that bus, they're going to see what it feels like. And that's what happened. Every guy, that we traveled played. And so that's the development piece we want going down the stretch. And so we'll just compound that, with practice tomorrow. And, as we get ready for them golden lines.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You have a good one.
You too.
Currently taking questions for Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Final questions? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. A few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach Woody. Will have his availability a little bit closer to 10:35. We'll pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, for our media participants, if you do have questions for our coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question on this first go round. There's already several questions there in the queue, so please limit your lights on. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thanks for taking some time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at South Carolina State.
We started out slow the first quarter. South Carolina State received the ball. They went 14, played drive, finished with a rushing touchdown. We got the ball back and went 3 and out, and then we were able to gain the first down on 2nd and 10. However, it got called back for an ineligible man down field. We were unable to make up the yards, forcing us to punt. It kind of got away from us. We had an interception by Timmy McClain and a fumble, and then we made a switch. And, I'm proud of the guys. They fought back, but playing a good team like that, you can't get in the hole. But we ended up, finishing up with points, and we just got to do a better job of stopping.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Troy White.
Hey, Coach. Woody, Troy White from Fat Mouth Sports. Tough game this weekend, but you have what we would probably describe as a unlikely heavyweight bout with Edward Waters. If you ask, when the season was coming in, we didn't think Edward Waters would be this good, and they've shown to be kind of scrappy for a D2 squad. What are some of the keys you guys would need to handle business this weekend?
Well, the bottom line is being able to run the ball, taking care of the ball and running it, then, stopping the run. And then obviously doing well on special teams and just, playing attention to detail and being able to improve on our techniques and fundamentals.
All right, Coach. Thank you. You have a good one.
You too.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach, so obviously you guys had a 28-point fourth quarter, and Cam Ransom with 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Is it safe to assume that he's now separated himself completely from Tim McClain to be your starter moving forward now?
He will be quarterback 1 going into the game.
All right, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, I've got to follow up on that question. I asked you about your quarterback situation last week. You told me firmly that Timmy was the quarterback. What has changed in Cam's decision-making or any other factors that now have him as QB1?
Well, you see the performance he came in and distributed, and at the end of the day, these guys, they come to work and go to work, and we don't let them, just be comfortable in, what they're doing from day to day. They have to show up and I'm proud of Cam. I mean, he's been patient. He understands that, hey, he had to step up his game and he did so, so he deserves to be, that guy. Even if it was Timmy, I would say the same thing about him. But, I'm proud of Cam for putting the performance that he distributed this past weekend.
Thank you for your honesty there, Coach. Appreciate that. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach Woody. How you doing today?
Good morning, Doc.
All right. This is one of your better offensive games that you had this season. But what are the things you want to try to improve as far as on 3rd down efficiency, going 3 for 10 on Saturday?
Well, we just got to be able to make, the easy reads and doing the things that, we're coaching them to do. And obviously, it's all about coaching, and we got to put them in positions constantly, in practice. We work 3rd down in those type of situations at least twice a week. Obviously, we're going to have to do a little more, but I think now clearly going into this game, we know who's the starter, and obviously, he's improving from day to day, and we just got to put him in those situations, and hopefully, it will be a better percentage on 3rd down.
And one more question. I know you told from last season with the game against the SWAC opponent in Clark, Atlanta. Now you're going into the game with Edward Waters, who's 3-0 right now. What do you tell your kids as far as this not making it a trap game and just making it a regular game that you would play every week?
Well, it's the most important game because it's the next game on our schedule, and these guys, they understand that. We talk about it, all the time. So, we're excited for the opportunity to play those guys.
All right, thank you, Coach. You have a good one.
Thank you.
This question goes to Dwayne Nash.
Good morning, Coach. Dwayne Nash from the Yard HBCU Sports and Hero Sports. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good.
Your team was able to put up 40-plus points against a program that allowed just 2 offensive touchdowns against a nationally ranked opponent just a week ago. What did you see in South Carolina State's defense that made that possible? And is there any way that you can make this type of offensive efficiency sustainable for the rest of the season?
Well, our guys, basically, with what we do on offense, it's not difficult. I mean, obviously, our guys was attention to detail on the things that they saw in the situations that they put us in, as far as on defense. We attacked it, the weaknesses of what they put out there. But those guys would play good, sound, fundamental ball. I think our guys started to click on all cylinders as far as with Cam coming in, being a new guy. We made it real simple for him, and he did the things that we asked him to do to execute.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach, I want to just come back now. I want to ask you specifically about this game this week with Edward Waters. Obviously, on that other side, they've got some guys that have been coaching in the SWAC before, and even a guy with Brian Jenkins who Bethune-Cookman knows very well. Talk about this game in terms of the big keys for you guys in terms of stopping them offensively and then just the overall tenor of your program heading into it.
Hey, just being disciplined, obviously. I mean, certain guys on their staff, no guys on our staff. But at the end of the day, we got to go in and prepare to win a football game. All of the distractions, all of the history, that goes out the window when you line up. So we're ready to go.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week against Edward Waters.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Darren.
Hey, Coach, this is Darren Horton with HBCU Go. I will be the play-by-play announcer for your game this week with Edward Waters. I wanted to ask you about learning about your team. Oftentimes, as the season goes on, a coach will learn different aspects of his team. You've had 3 games now to observe what your team and coach your team. What is it that you've learned about your team that you're starting to understand better as a head coach on how to direct them and how to teach them?
Well, I tell you, the big key is having a leader. And I know, you talk with certain guys that you feel have those type of qualities, on your entire program, whether it's, the leadership council or someone that you can really respect their word, and everybody wants a leader. And I just think for what Cam Ransom, did in that game, coming off the sideline, cheering his teammates and putting a dent in things. I think that's really what this team needed, somebody that they want to follow. And consistency, and that's the big thing, is the word consistent. They knowing our guys, they want to follow somebody, and that person is normally it's the quarterback, So we feel good about where we're at now. A lot of the guys were talking, and that's what they said, Coach. We just need a consistent leader.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. When you look at Ed Waters, you'll look over and you'll see some familiar faces with headsets on. When you see Coach Jenkins and you see even Eric Dooley, but just talk about the coaches and how coaches every Saturday there's big games and and the different coaching philosophies and schemes, they meet face to face?
Well, I mean, it's all about blocking and tackling. You know, obviously knowing those guys, they got a good coaching staff. Coach Jenkins assembled together, and you know, they know us, and obviously a lot of respect goes on their side of the ball. Then obviously, you know, when we meet up, you know, it's just like I say, it's all about that. You know, who's going to execute on a consistent basis.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You too.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now go over to Florida A&M and Coach Colsey. Once again, if you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches.
Coach Colsey's on his way. He's coming from the meeting. He'll be here shortly.
Thank you. All right, we'll pause momentarily. We appreciate your patience. Once again, for our media participants, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Albany State.
First and foremost, sorry for the delay. Just finishing up a staff meeting that I'll quickly get back to after we get done with this. But obviously, extremely happy about getting a win against very, very good Albany State team. But getting headed to the bye, try to get ourselves a heck of a lot more healthier, and just get ourselves going in the right direction. Continue to get ourselves going in the right direction.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Colsey, congrats on the win.
Thank you,
I just wanted to ask here, you guys had a little bit of a slow start there in the first half, and then you came alive in that second half, starting with that 71-yarder to Wiltshire. What changed from first half to second half offensively where you guys were able to open it up, and then headed into the bye week with this offense now? Where do you guys think this performance will carry you now?
Well, it's always a plus, right? Well, I'll start with your first question. I think we obviously won with two quarterbacks, in the first half, giving RJ the first two series, and then Jet finished off that first half, and then coming into halftime, just talking about it's just establishing, just kind of imposing our will on the offensive side, right? And we knew offensive line wise and wide receiver wise that we probably were a little bit more talented. But just getting the opportunity to put the ball in the paint, that can only continue to give an offense confidence, right? So, it was a great RPO play. RJ hit Kenari Wiltshire, and Kenari Wiltshire is one of the fastest guys we have on our football team. And once we get him going, we felt once he caught it, he was going to be able to score. So, again, great job by our offensive staff. Continue to work and continue to coach these two quarterbacks and continue to try to maneuver how well our offensive line can play. And then obviously we had quite a few guys that did not play on the offensive side, as we gave a couple of guys, some the weekend off or to give them the night off just to get healthy. But continue to play hard, continue to instill confidence. Every time you put the ball in the end zone, the offense continues to get confidence.
All right, Coach, congrats on the win again, and we'll talk next week.
Several
I
questions.
appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Several questions already in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Coach, you've been clear that you wanted to be a running football team. However, this weekend, you all produced a lot of yards with the passing game. Is that the way forward for FAMU for the rest of the season?
Well, I can't tell y'all everything, right? I mean, I can't tell you the truth all the time, right? I mean, with Coach Burr's offensive coordinator, we're still trying to learn our team. What's going to work and what's it going to look like. I think that when I say I want to be a running team, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think everybody, right, in the country, you want to run the football effectively and you want to stop the run. I mean, that's the mantra that you have to go with to try to win a national championship. But we're going to take what the defense allows us to do. I mean, obviously, when you hit that 71-yard touchdown pass in the third quarter, well, that was a defense that was showing up, making sure that we threw the football, and RJ was lucky enough to make a good read and get the ball to Wiltshire on the run, right? So if you look at that play, I mean, they were geared up to stop the run, and that's why RPO sometimes can be so effective, right? It puts one-on-one with the wide receiver and the defensive back. So we want to be a great running team. I don't necessarily think we want to be a run-first team, but we want to be a great running team because that allows us to do something in the pass game, right? That puts our wide receivers on some one-on-one matchups.
Excellent clarification, Coach. Thank you for that.
I appreciate you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Tally are well. Mr. Franklin, he was able to score twice. Talk about the running game, as you know how important that is to any football team, and definitely FAMU.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, Thad's one of the best in the conference, right? And that's something that we've been missing, the first couple of weeks, right? That's something we've been missing the first couple of weeks, and it's always good to get him going. And he was a little bit banged up kind of after the Howard game, so we were just slowly but surely getting him ready. And he'll tell you he was probably at about 75 to 80%. We'll use this bye week to continue to get him healthy and obviously get ready for a tough 9-week stretch of where we just where we go 9 straight weeks. So we're gonna need him throughout the year, but it's gonna be very, very important for us to get him going next week because Alabama State's not gonna just let us throw the ball around the yard. We're gonna have to be able to run the football.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Hey, Coach Cozy, Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports. Great atmosphere this weekend in Tallahassee. Enjoyed feeling like I was 19 again. But down to business, we talk a lot about the offense, and at SWAC Media Day, you said you wanted to be a balanced offense. As we look at this offense, you have two heads of the snake. And I know you told me not to ask about your quarterbacks, but they are playing better. Even though we had some miscues, they are playing better this year. Can you speak to their development?
Well, it's talking to Coach Burris, man. He's doing a great job with them. We are, we're having success with both of them, right? But I think for us, the details is what could potentially separate them, right? I mean, you got guys making good throws. We got guys making great catches. You know what I mean? There's been a few drops as well that I think that have definitely hurt our offensive production. But I think the biggest thing for us is just continuing to have these guys develop. It's a long season, and just being able to make sure both of these guys are going in the right direction for our offense, right? I mean, you talk about our offensive line. We know we got a great group of guys. Our running back core, you got a great group of guys. Our receivers, obviously, we need to continue to get better because we got a very, very talented group right there, but just need them to finish on a couple throws. So just continuing to work it day by day. We have our bye week, and RJ and Jet and RJ are both going to work extremely hard to be the signal caller. It just all depends on who is making the proper, improvements as we get closer to Alabama State next week.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You have a good one.
Appreciate you.
Question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Cozy, how you doing this morning?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good. What do you tell your team as far as making the adjustments in the second half and trying not to repeat having a slow start in the first half? uh, against Alabama State coming up in 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, you have a slow start. I'll go backwards on the question. You have a slow start against Alabama State, man. You could be down rather early, right? So, but I think the biggest thing for us was just, again, getting in that second half, just kind of get, we having an idea what we needed to do on offense, but defensively we needed to make some changes, right? I mean, Alabama, Albany State came out and did a couple things that we didn't expect them to do, and they got a great quarterback, great wide receiver, and they put us in a little bit of a tight spot early in the football game. So it was a collective effort that we all needed to make sure we were getting better, and then we get a turnover right after the big play, and so kind of getting our rhythm and continuing to get confidence, right? But again, it does start, with what we're doing on offense and defensively. We gotta make sure we're playing at a big time level as well, because getting ready for Alabama State, they're playing some really really good football. Potentially should be 3-0 with the win against an FBS opponent. So we're gonna have a tough time if we don't come ready to play next week.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Okay, appreciate you guys. Looking forward to seeing y'all.
Thank you.
And good luck to everybody. And good luck to everybody this weekend.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, boss.
All right, next we go over to Grambling State. And Coach Joseph, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. All right, we're going to work to get connected with Coach Joseph. We appreciate your patience. All right, we're working to reach Coach Joseph with Grambling State. If we're unable to reach him here, we will actually be able to adjust his schedule to the 12:05 slot after Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Apologies for any inconvenience. We'll be back momentarily. We'll be back here shortly. We'll actually be joined by Coach Hampton at 11:05. He'll be our next coach. We appreciate your patience. But once again, we have made an adjustment to our schedule. Coach Joseph with Grambling State will join us at 12:05 after Coach TC Taylor's availability. Next up, we'll be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Once again, if you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with UAPB. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Lincoln.
Yes, played Lincoln on Saturday. It was good to come out with a win. We did a lot of good things on offense, defense, special teams, but got a lot of things we need to get cleaned up over the bye week. And it was just good to get a win on the board. And so now kids can kind of, obviously don't have to worry about that one. At monkey on your back every time you don't get a win. You still got to walk around campus, still got to hear people talk. So it was good to get that out of the way. Now we can just relax and play football.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Hampton, congrats on the win. And my question for you this week is, how do you feel about Christian Peters? He threw 3 interceptions in the game against Lincoln, and then also the development and the contributions that Jalen Jennings had with 226 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, obviously, Christian Peters, man, played really well against Texas Tech, played really well against UCA. in the first 2 drives. He took us down the field, we scored. And then obviously, he got hit on the play, he threw the ball up, probably just should have took the sack, and their guy made a great play. And then on another one, wasn't even his fault. So obviously, quarterback gets all the praise, gets all the blame. And, going into it, and then on the other interception, the DB made a great play. Excellent play. So we were going to play both quarterbacks this game anyway. Christian Peters is still our starter. No big deal. The young man is grad transfer, smart kid, D2 All-American. He's got ice in his veins. And so that's really no big deal there. And DJ came in, did a good job. DJ is a really good football player. They battled all throughout, and we feel we got 2 quarterbacks. So if we feel at that moment that we need to change, then that's what we'll do. But obviously, Christian Peters, he'll be the starter when we play Alcorn. And then Jalen Jennings, man, he's a tough kid. In between the tackles, he can run outside. He's physical. And, obviously, it was his opportunity, and he took advantage of it. So happy for him. And then, obviously, we'll get BJ back. Hadn't played all year. It was a preseason, all SWAC. And then, so it's good. I think we're finally getting healthy, over the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, we'll have everybody that we need to be ready to compete in Memphis.
All right, Coach. Thanks. And we'll talk next week ahead of your game in Memphis.
All right. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Hampton, how you doing this morning?
Hey, doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Congratulations on your first victory this year.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully many more will come. Going into this bye week and getting ready for the Southern Heritage Classic coming up, what are some things that you want to try to improve as far as on third down efficiency and on penalties?
Yeah, obviously, man, we've been pretty good in penalties to the last game. We just did a lot of things that were not good, not a good football team. We're responding to things that really have anything to do with you. You got guys, they were doing some stuff that wasn't even football. And like our one kid that got ejected, our offensive lineman, he was defending a teammate, and he actually got swung on. He pushed the guy back, and the referee threw him out. And so that's unfortunate, but we got to keep our cool. And we have a Teach the Game segment, and we talk about how you should respond in situations like that when that happens. So obviously we got to go back and teach it again because we didn't learn that lesson. And then just being more cleaner. Obviously when you got the coach to player communication, sometimes, our signal guys, we got to make sure that the quarterback is seeing that, coach is communicating it. And so we just can clean up a lot of things, man. And, obviously we played 3 games, and we got to get better from that aspect of it. But in the bye week, man, we got a lot of things we need to clean up. Offense, defense, special teams, just like everybody else. And we're excited to be able to start that process.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question.
Oh, you asked about third down, didn't you?
I did ask about third down. My bad.
No, you good, brother. I didn't forget you because I'm looking at it, man. We were actually 50% this week. I think we were like maybe 50 or 47% last week. We've done a better job. We did a Teach the Game on third down, and I think the top 3 teams in the conference that were leading in that category had winning records. So you're right. Third down does matter. And so we've done a better job. In this game, we were 6 of 12, and on fourth down, we were 3 of 3. Third down defense, we held them 1 of 10 and 1 of 10. So we're doing the things that matter. Now we just need to be able to do them when we get ready to get to conference play.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem, buddy. I didn't forget you.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning. I know a lot of times we get wrapped up in wins and losses, and we forget about the younger players' development. Are there any younger players that we haven't been aware of that jumped off the screen for you this weekend?
The whole team young. No, we got a lot of young guys. They're playing. They're starting, getting a lot of reps. Like my corners. I mean, they're babies. They're sophomore. They were freshmen last year. We got freshman receivers that's getting reps with the ones. This is a young football team mixed with some older guys, and we just got to continue to grow up. Some growing pains. Obviously when we played UCA, it was 10 20 at half, should have been 20-14, but we're right there in the game. And we just got to learn how to trust each other, trust our coaching, trust ourselves, and we'll be able to make those plays. But again, we had a punt return that got called back. That was a true freshman, Ellis Pop Stewart. This kid is special. He can flat out run, so he has a bright future ahead. And then obviously, in my opinion, one of our top players a couple guys didn't play on defense this week. They were kind of banged up, and hopefully we'll get them back in a couple weeks. So it's a young football team, but nobody cares if you're young, right? You got to go out and play the game, and those guys get a lot of reps this week, and we'll continue to bring them along because we're going to need them.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You have a good one.
You too, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. Congratulations on that victory, 34-8 over Lincoln. What are you seeing defensively that you would like to take care of, if you will, or clean up between now and the Southern Heritage Classic versus Alcorn?
Yeah, man, Alcorn is a physical football team, and we got to be able to match their intensity. Like I said, man, Coach Thomas does a great job. His guys going to fly around on defense. They're going to be gritty, nasty on offense. They want to go downhill. They got two good running backs. And like I said, most people in our conference don't have some of the stuff that they got. When I'm talking about, they got a good old line. They got two really talented tailbacks. They got receivers. And on defense, man, they chase the ball. So we got to be able to match that intensity. I've been knowing Coach for a while, man. We two DB guys, but we kind of grimy, man. And so we're going to have to match them. Our kids going to have to step up to the plate, got to put the mouthpiece in, put your big boy shoulder pads on, helmet on, and we got to be ready to go. And it's no other way you like to start off conference play with a really good opponent. And last year we jumped out on them 14-0. They came back, and we were tied in the fourth quarter, and they were able to get it in the end. And, so our guys, we know what we got facing us, but, we're excited about the opportunity as well.
Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Just wanted to take the bye week as a chance to kind of look back on the first three games. And what have you seen so far out of this team that has impressed you? And what have you seen that you most need to work on these next 2 weeks before Alcorn?
Well, I mean, obviously things you need to work on. You need to clean up some things in the special team area. Like, we've been pretty good. It's just, one guy here having a lapse of judgment, right? We give you all the different looks that a team may show you, and you got to be prepared for that moment when you get the opportunity. Then on offense, man, we got to continue to get first downs and move the ball, be able to run the football. Got to be able to manage third and long situations. We've done a really good job this week. And then on third and shorts, man, you got to be able to get those. And, we're aggressive football team by nature. And I told Coach he can get me to like 4th and 2 or 3. I'm probably going to give him an opportunity because I trust my OC. And on defense, man, we got to be able to bite the football. A lot of people, when I say bite the football, you can't be afraid to stick your face on that football. And, we need to be able to see 8-9 guys in the picture on the ball carrier when they're running the ball or catching the football. And those are the things that we need to get cleaned up. You got to have a love for your teammate, just not want to disappoint your brother. We always talk about many members, but one body. And so we need our body to get closer together, be in sync, play complementary football. And those are things we'll continue to work on as we move forward, into conference play. But we got 2 weeks to get a lot of things cleaned up. It's a good part of the year. You don't got too many injuries, and hopefully everybody will be back ready to go. I'm excited to be able to get BJ back out there, to be able to he practiced a little last week, and this week it'll ramp him up. And then by the Southern Heritage Classic, he'll be ready to rumble.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Mississippi Valley State. Coach Buckley, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, it was another one of those things that going to an opponent that has everything that you would like to have. They controlled the offensive line. The offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, defensive line. We turned the ball over from the start, just like the previous game. Dug ourselves a hole. You're talking about their average field position was something like the 38 on all sides of the field, the first 4 possessions, the first quarter. So it was 28-3 before you can blink. And that was all phases that we gave, offense, defense, special teams. It just seems like we could, the lights, it was almost like the deer in the headlights. So, but one thing we didn't do, we didn't quit. We kept battling. And I saw some energy in the fourth quarter. We put some young guys in to see what they can do. We are trying to change the attitude, trying to change the mindset, the culture here. This has been one of the situations for over 2 decades. It's not easily changed, and we still have some personnel that are on the bus that we have to get off the bus. Some players. So the first 3 games was very, very eye-opening for myself, for the rest of the staff, and the players. That the new era is new for real, and we got a lot of work to do.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Buckley, I just want to go right with what you were saying, because what you just were saying was where I was going to go with my question. You guys are headed into a bye week, and obviously this gives you the chance to hit that reset. But you talk about culture, you talk about scheme, you talk about fit. What are some of the things, the immediate things that you and your staff can do during this bye week that will give you the help, man, before you hit that field against Texas Southern?
Yes, we went into the Lions Den and found out that we weren't ready for that, right? So from overall organization standpoint, what I'm going to do along with the coaches is reassess everything, including myself, and trying to get the right people on the bus, whether that's 58 62 players, getting the right attitude, going back to the basics like every coach said they're going to do, right? Looking at the special teams, offense, defense, where are we getting hurt at, right? And getting back to the alignment and assignment. If you line up properly and you understand the assignment, you have a great chance of having a great performance. And we've done it in spurts. Now we have to be able to do it for a complete game.
Well, Coach, I'm behind you. I know you still got a lot of supporters. So best of luck to you here in the bye week, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Hey, Coach. Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports, longtime fan. I know a lot of times when you get hit in the mouth, you come up bloody, but sometimes those bloody kids stand up and want to be able to ask for some more and keep fighting. Can you speak to any of the young guys that after this weekend came up and still look like they're ready to fight some more?
Absolutely, and that's when you start trying to get the right guys on the bus. And guys, you've been around sports a long time. When you just the mindset of winning and losing is very thin, and that's what we're trying to change. So if you look at a young man like Chauncey Warren, linebacker, that was out there battling the whole game. You look at Byron Keys, that was battling. We have Shay Schaefer, wide receiver, had a toe and still out there battling. Norman Taylor, running back from Rumble, Louisiana. We obviously don't want that to happen to you, what's happened to us the last 2 weeks. But it's also one of those things, if you take it the right way, you're learning. And I keep saying this, getting the right guys on the bus with the right mindset. When you are trying to turn around a program and they say start from scratch, sometimes program you start from below. You start from a negative position throughout the whole organization. And when you're trying to move that up to where you're going to go out and compete game in and game out, no matter who you're playing, that takes a lot of work. And we are starting to see some of that now. That's why I'm here, right? Mississippi made, and nothing phases us. We're going to keep working and grinding.
All right, Coach. Well, I look forward to seeing the teams progress. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to follow up on the thing that you were talking about, especially in terms of finding the right guys, finding the right 22 out there. And you just mentioned a cadre of guys in terms of what you saw from them this past week. But are you any closer to just identifying more bodies that, in terms of guys that you want to see out there playing?
Absolutely. This game here, we you have a good idea. You look at the first game, look at the second game, and you still and it was one of those ones. Okay, I want to give this guy a shot, see if he can do it. See this guy for what we want. As a Valley program, as a Valley football player, are they gonna give us that 100%? Are they gonna line up right? Are they gonna compete the entire game? And this past game revealed a lot. Some guys got tossed off the bus. They didn't walk off the bus. They got tossed off the bus. Some of them jumped through the window to get on the bus. So when you can eval and do those things, it after you're feeling really, really awful for 24 hours, then you start to come around and say, okay, what's the solution? How can we get better? And you start to put that game plan together.
Good thing. Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in the Delta are well. When you're building a program, yes, sir, it's a process.
Yes.
As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, or Egypt. Talk a little bit about building up Valley.
Man, like you said, you start from scratch. We started from a negative point, and you have to go through every aspect of the program. I mean, from the top down, from the administration down to the equipment room, to how we travel, everything about it. There has to be some adjustment, and then you finally get to the playing field, and you concentrate on the players, and that's what has happened over the last 7 months for myself and the staff. When you arrived in February and everything is in disarray, and now you putting it together, and you seeing some fight for some guys, young and old. I should have mentioned that Kobe Bird out there too. We got a guy with a broke finger out there fighting, and he was an upperclassman that wants to change the narrative, change the mindset. Then you have something you can build. You can build off, and that's what has been created these first 3 weeks.
Good luck with the bye week and getting ready to play again.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, I want to follow up on some of the things that you talked about, and you've mentioned some of these as we've gone along, but I want to hear the difference between your perception of what this job would be in Mississippi Valley and the reality of what this job is.
Well, the perception is it was, they haven't had a winning season in over 2 decades. So it was going to be tough, right? The reality is it was a little bit worse because you wasn't starting from a clean surface. It was below that. But again, like I said before, when you want to do something, you want to go into the belly of the beast, and I was prepared for that. Family and everybody's involved. They knew it was going to be tough. But we have some tough-minded players. We have tough-minded coaches. The administration from the president has been amazing. Our new AD, they understand the assignment, and we are here for the battle. We will compete, and we will get this thing going in the right direction.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coach, as always, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Prairie View A&M and Coach Jackson. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Jackson with Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Rice.
Yeah, we went into Houston again and played Rice. I thought our players came out and started the game fast, which had been a task for us. We've been working on starting fast, and I thought they did that on both sides of the ball. Went up 7, had some unfortunate things go our way, or that didn't go our way, and it allowed them to open the game up. Really proud of the way our guys kept fighting. I thought we matched up pretty well with them for the most part, so I was really encouraged by that. And I think it gave our guys a sense of what we can do when we're executing at a high level. And so disappointing that we lost, obviously. We didn't, like I said, like I tell you guys all the time, we came here to beat everybody on our schedule. We're not going to sit here and say what they have and what they don't have and what we don't have. We came here to win. And so I thought we had our opportunity to win. We just didn't close it out, which I think that experience will help us this season and beyond.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Jackson. So 3 games in, and you guys getting ready for Northwestern State coming into your house this weekend. What's your overall view of what needs to improve on your group in all phases as you get ready for this next game?
Yeah, I think we need to continue to improve in all phases. It's not one thing in particular. Like I said, we had a problem starting the game, so we changed some things in practice and we started fast. I like what we changed there. I thought our staff did a really good job with that. So we got to continue to do that. But over the last 3 games, we've had some ebbs and flows, and what's worked we've kept, and what hadn't worked we threw out. And so we just what we try to do here, man, is stay basic. That's it. Like I always promised myself when I became a head coach that I wouldn't get on a call like this and say, we got to get back to the basics. No, we just try to stay basic in everything that we do, and therefore we don't have to get back to something that we already are. And so we've got to continue to improve within our basics, within our fundamentals of what we do. But like I said, after last week's game, I am encouraged that we're headed in the right direction.
All right, Coach, good luck this week against Northwestern State.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody there are well. Talk a little bit about your team, offense, defense, special teams, the 3 phases. And again, you have a great opportunity every Saturday, and you have one coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I really like where our team is right now. I think they understand what we've been preaching since May. They now understand. And sometimes it takes the season to get going for them to understand. We do a lot here, and I know people think that we've been here for a while. We've been here 9 months, but we don't make that as an excuse. We expect to be successful immediately, and I think our guys now understand that. It went from me saying it and coaches saying it to now our guys are saying it. So I think it's filtering down in the right way, and I think our guys want to be successful. I heard Coach earlier talk about getting the right guys on the bus and off the bus and things of that nature. We had to go through that. We had to get the right guys, not on or off the bus, but in the right seats in order for them to be able to help our collective in a major way. And so we got a good opponent in Northwestern State coming in here. They played 2 Power 5 teams back to back. So, you really can't put a lot of stock in that because they were just outmatched. But they opened the season up with a win against somebody in our league, and I know their coach is pretty confident based on what he said that they're ready to get back to their level, as he calls it, and beat Prairie View A&M. And so I think it'll be a good match here Saturday night at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck with that program.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports.
Good morning.
So speaking of players in the right seats, a lot of times when you go through a tough matchup with an FBS squad, you get younger players that step up in the fire. Do you have any kids that kind of jumped off the film in that last game that makes you think they have a bright future?
Yeah, we don't make it a habit around here about talking about individuals. We keep it about the collective. But I will say, we did play a lot of guys on Saturday night. We played some young guys. people think when you're up, you clear the benches, right? Well, we got a little different philosophy. We play guys throughout the game. So some of our guys that hadn't played very much was playing against their starters, and we matched up just fine. We made a mistake here and there, but we had a lot of guys play against their starters, regardless of what they might say. We had guys that were competing against their ones on their side, and I felt like we matched up just fine. I mean, it was what it was, and we made some critical mistakes, but we were able to play a lot of guys. A lot of guys got the speed of the game experience. The difference is the line play and the speed of the game. And so some of our young guys out of high school and that hadn't played before, they were able to feel that speed and catch up to it and play in it. And so I was encouraged by that, and I think that'll help us moving forward.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You have a good one.
You too.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning.
What do you give your assessment as far as your QB play through the first 3 games of the season?
I don't give it necessarily an assessment. I just think we got to continue to improve at that spot. Regardless of who the face is, we've got to be better in some areas when it comes down to playing quarterback. And so we'll continue to look at that and continue to see what we need to do there. But definitely I'm encouraged by some of the play, and there's some things that we need to just simply improve on from a read standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint. And I think those guys are continuing to do that.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to Charles Porter.
Hey, Coach Charles Porter, Splendid Media. First of all, congratulations, man, on your efforts this past weekend. We saw a lot of beautiful, bright spots in your game. A lot of the things that you're talking about that you want to establish right now, we're starting to see them coming to fruition. How do you take this energy into this home game? I mean, great quarterback play. There's energy out there. Your first series, the defense was flying around, knocking guys around. I mean, there's a lot of energy and a room to improve, but I saw some really, really bright things going into this week.
Yeah, Mr. Porter, we appreciate that. And, what we do around here is we're realistic with our guys. Ultimately, there's no participation trophies or no second place. You don't get on for flying around and doing what you're supposed to do, and we don't clap for the mailman. But like you said, we think we can use that to move forward and playing the people that we have left on our schedule. And so it starts this week with like I said, I think it's a good Northwestern State team, regardless of who they played in the last 2 weeks. We've got to get ourselves ready to go. And we got an opportunity to win a home game in September, which is our last home game in September here at Panther Stadium. And so we need to do that. We need to do that for what we came here to do, and for our fans, and mostly for ourselves, so that we can spring ourselves in the conference play in the right manner.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck this week. Looking real good.
Try to get 2 more questions in quickly. First one goes to Dwayne Nash.
Good morning, Coach. Dwayne Nash from the Yard, HBCU Sports and Hero Sports. How are you this morning?
Well.
All right. Is it hard to evaluate a program like Northwestern State when they face P4 programs in back-to-back weeks? And if it is, do you focus more on that week 1 performance that they had against Alcorn?
Yeah, I think you focus. It's not very hard for us because coaches like to do what they like to do out of what they like to do it out of. And so we look at not necessarily what the score was, but the formation tendencies from a defensive perspective, the coverages and blitz packages. A lot of people's philosophy is to go into those games. Some people think those games don't matter. To me, those games matter. Like, I don't care who we play. We're trying to win. But I heard their coach say that those games didn't matter. And so therefore, what it tells me is they went in and they tried some things that they might want to get done for when they get the conference player and even our game. And so you get a chance to get a preview of some things that they want to get good at in a game situation. And so I think it's very helpful for us as an opponent of them to watch them play against those two opponents, because they had nothing to lose. And so therefore they tried everything they wanted to try and get their guys some game reps and some experience. And so we certainly think that we have a great comparison from their first game to the third game and everything in between on what they like to do. And so we're going to try to use that and see how we can defend it and how we can attack it.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey Tremaine, how you doing?
Doing good.
Hey, quick question. What are you liking that you're seeing from Tevin Carter right now?
Yeah, I just like the fact that our quarterbacks are putting the ball where it's supposed to be. And so they're operating the offense in an efficient manner. I think both of them have done that at their times, and so we look forward to seeing who continues to do it at a high level. And so obviously, like I said, we don't talk about individuals a lot, but I think the mechanic of playing quarterback is a big deal. And it's an on and off the field deal. And so we got to make sure the guys are doing it on and off the field.
Would you say that he's your starting quarterback right now, or how would you phrase that?
I would say you the starter today, and then we'll see if we can get you out of there by Saturday.
Put me in, Coach. I ain't coming out. All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Jackson, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we move over to Southern University and Coach Graves. Once again, if you have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves with Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Drew. How are you?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Fresno State.
Yeah, we went out on the West Coast. Had a good trip out there in the Mountain West Conference, playing a good Fresno State team, which was 2-1 and much improved. I was happy, really, really happy to see how the Jaguar Nation came out and showed up. We had a lot of Southern alumni out there supporting our program as well as the band, and was really pleased to see them. I'm hats off to my players. Those guys really played hard. They fought the entire game. There were some times where we felt like things weren't going our way evenly, but those guys fought through those things, and we played to the end. We saw some improvement, and that's the thing that we wanted to do. We wanted to go out there and play a clean game. The penalty situation, I go back and watch it. That's for me, that's up to interpretation. But for the most part, again, our guys fought hard. They played well in terms of what we were trying to do and what we were trying to accomplish. And we got a chance to play some younger guys, some other guys to see what they could do, against a upper level competition. And was glad to see some of those guys get out there and compete.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Graves, I know headed into this bye week, I know that you guys are working on all phases of your team. But the question I want to ask you is here about offensively, obviously, with the changes that you made with your offensive coordination. What are the key elements that you guys are going to be working on with that offense as you guys get ready for SWAC play here?
We're going to work on everything. We got to continue to work to improve. We're going to do what our guys can do well. We're going to implement, some things that really helps us get moving. I thought we moved the ball well. Moving the ball up and down the field, regardless of who we played, hadn't been a problem per se. We just got to find the end zone with touchdowns. We're getting down in the red zone, or the green zone, as the offense calls it. We're getting down there. Now we just have to put the ball in the end zone, whether it's throwing and catching, sustaining a block, making sure that we're reading the running backs, making the right cuts, all those things, just the little things. Like I said, the guys are doing a good job. We're playing some young guys. We got some guys beat up. That's been since game one. But we're not around here complaining and crying about woe is me because we don't have guys that are playing. We're thing is, hey, next man up, and we're gonna keep working to improve.
All right, Coach, enjoy the bye week, and we'll talk next week about that team you're playing next week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm super fantastic, Coach. It sounds like you have a lot of positive things to take away from your business trip to California. I want to ask about your quarterback, Ashton. Is it Strother? Is that how?
Strother.
Yes. Talk about him, Coach, and evaluate his play.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ashton's a pleasant addition. You know, we lost a quarterback right before or right during camp for some personal reasons, and we were down, and we had a young man. He was at Coahoma Community College, and like I say all the time, relationships matter. So because of some of the relationships our coaches have with other coaches, we were able to bring him in camp. He came in late, but he came in with the right attitude. He has a great attitude. He wants to learn. He's a competitor. And he does the little things that you want to see as a coach, seeing players do things the right way. And he came in and he's learning. And we put him in the game on Saturday, and it was like, hey, I got my shot. Let me go and try to lead this team to victory. And he went out and he played well. He played well. Of course, he missed some throws or missed a few things, but all in all, he did a good job of leading our program on offense on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody there are well. Talk about health and strength as you have a bye week and you get ready in Jackson, but just talk a little bit about the health and strength of your team right now as you guys are in between with a bye.
Well, I'm appreciative of the bye week. Hopefully we'll get some guys back. We had some guys that have not played, that were injured in the preseason, had surgeries, and that's experience in depth. And then we had some guys that's been hurt or been injured during week 1 or week 2. Some guys week 3. And, we got to, again, there are no excuses. But, when you have experienced players go down, it kind of stymies what you're trying to do in all 3 phases. But again, hats off to these guys because guys are taking advantage of the opportunities, and hopefully we'll get some of these guys back over the open date. We'll have those guys back and have them sound and get ready for our next contest.
Have a great week, sir.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Long trip out to California to face the face a slightly bigger opponent. I'm interested to know, a lot of times when you play those type of matchups, you look for your younger guys to step up. What are the younger guys that played this weekend that you can speak to their development during this last game?
Well, we played a number of younger guys, and to see those guys go out and compete, it was good. We played some true freshmen at offensive line, and to see those guys go out there and compete against older guys or transfer guys, they got the experience got I think one of the true freshmen got him one time. He gave up a sack to a guy that transferred from USC, but for the most part, they fought and competed hard. We had 3 sacks, but for the most part, those guys went out and competed on the offensive line. Those young guys, they fought and fought and fought. Defensively, we had some young guys go out there and compete. And sometimes the situation, you could tell that they were out there competing for the first time because they were, sometimes a step too slow in some things. But again, those guys went out and competed and had the opportunity and the experience, I think, that they gained will also help them going forward in the future.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Good luck in the bye week. Hopefully you get some guys healthy.
Thank you.
This question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Ty Miller from Power News Radio Network in Black.
How you doing, Ty?
Hey, man. How you doing?
All right.
11 rushing yards against Fresno State. Was it a combination of their size and strength, or was it the fact that your running game definitely just needs more work?
Oh, they were bigger. They were bigger. They were bigger and stronger. I'll tell you another thing, Ty. What was disappointing was it's like every time we got something going, it was called back. We have a big run, it's a holding call. We have a big run, it's a illegal formation. It's and my thing, and anybody that knows me, and they will tell you, all I ever ask is for consistency. If you're gonna call a game tight, call it tight for both sides. If you're gonna let us play on both sides. And I think that was some of the stuff that took some of the wind out of our sail. And there were times where crucial third downs where our guys basically it was pass interference. I mean, our guys, they were running through some of our guys and getting there early, and there were no calls. So it really stymied some of the things that we were doing offensively. But again, they were big up front. We were moving them. And like I said, we would have a little success. But, then that's the frustrating part. When you go back and you look at it and you say, well, wow, this is holding on us, but it's not holding on them. And that attributed to a lot of what we could or could not do offensively.
I've seen it many times. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Dwayne Nash.
Good morning, Coach. Dwayne Nash from the Yard, HBCU Sports and Hero Sports. How are you?
Yeah.
Now, Coach, I know this trip to Fresno was a business trip. However, with this being a rare opportunity to go out to California, were you guys able to take in any culture while you were out there?
No, we practiced that morning and then we headed over to the airport. And it was a 4-hour flight. And so, we're 2 hours ahead. So, when we got there, we did, business-like stuff. We got off the plane, got on the buses, went to the hotel. We got the guys checked in, and then we stretched them out. We did a stretch and roll out period, because they were on that plane for so long, and we wanted to get them stretched out, and we let them relax a little bit, and then we went into our Friday evening schedule, and then on Saturday, it's game day. We got up, chapel service, breakfast, walkthroughs, off your feet until pregame meal, and then we headed on over to the stadium. So we didn't get a chance. A lot of times, situations like that, you would normally, if you left on a Thursday, then that gives you an opportunity to see some of the cultural things or what have you. But since we left that Friday and the length of the flight, we really had to keep it a business-like approach.
Just real quick, do you regret that decision?
No, not at all. Not at all. The schedule was made well before I became the head coach. So there's nothing, you go out and you play the games. Like I said, I felt like we played at one point, the score was 14-7. I felt like we had good energy, good momentum going. Again, some things happen, and then when you start having, things not go your way, particularly in terms of how it's being called and things of that nature, it kind of slows you down and it kind of stymies you some. So hats off to them. They won the game. They, of course, we knew that we would have to play the perfect game to even have an opportunity to upset them. But our guys went out there with the mindset to win. And so, as well as the coaches. So, again, I'm proud of those guys and the effort that we gave and how we competed and the class that we showed, even when, with a lot of things being said, done, or what have you, the guys really kept their composure and they really played the game the right way. So hats off to them. Great experience for us. And we'll put that behind us and move forward.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Go Jags.
Thank you. All right. Next, we go over to Texas Southern and Coach Dishman. Once again, if you do have questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Thank you, as always, for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out just with a brief opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Lamar.
Well, that'd be a very quick opening statement. We didn't play well at all. All three phases was disappointing. I'm glad the bye week is this week where we can get back into teaching the details of stuff. Our coaches always teach the details. We just got to make sure our players hear the details.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Dishman, you had said after the game on Saturday, you said that you didn't sign on for games like this, and you called it a disgusting performance. headed into the bye week, what specifically needs to change? Would you say it's more so just a mindset, or versus the schematics, or what do you think needs to change for you guys?
Well, it's more of, everybody has to bring something to the party. No one get in free. Guys, we want our guys to bring a mindset of a winning mindset. We want our guys to make sure they understand the responsibility of being a Texas Southern player, and also understanding that everyone on our schedule is beatable if we just bring the right mindset. Your mind control your body. We cannot let our body control our mind.
All right, Coach. Enjoy the bye week, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach Dishman. How you doing today?
Doc, and you?
I'm doing good. Moving along from the Lamar game, because I know you want to keep that in the past. Going into this bye week, what are the things you want to try to work on as far as defensive wise, and far as third down efficiency on the defensive end?
Well, first and foremost, we had a block kick. Yeah, block kick, bobble snap. First and foremost, we got to get our special teams together. So going into this bye week, we're going to work on a lot of special team stuff. And we're going to move some people around. Some guys who wasn't playing going to be playing. The guys who was playing is not going to be playing. Because everyone has a job to do. If you don't do your job, there's no such thing as third and fourth chances in life.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Houston are well. When you think about your offense as you go into a bye week and then you get Valley, what would you like to put together offensively as you move forward?
Well, looking at Valley, they're a very good team defensively. You can tell Buck makes them a very good team of using his attitude on defense. So what we're just trying to do is try to find a weakness on defense. Our offense trying to find their weakness. What is their weakness point? Our special teams have to improve. And defensively, we have to improve defensively. We can't let Lamar did two of the exact same plays, and we never caught it. So either our people in the booth have to improve, which make me improve. I have to improve on the field and be able to catch it.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Next question goes to Charles Porter.
Hey, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yes,
hey,
I
Coach.
can.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Man, I watched your game, and I saw some good stuff there. I know you were really disappointed at the end of the game, but how do you rechannel that energy and get the guys up? This is going to be an important game against Valley. You got a week to rest. You got a chance to, like you said, move some people around and put them in the proper positions. The people that's been playing, they're going to sit down. And the people that's hungry are going to get out there and play for you. How do you take this bye week and pump up that energy getting ready to go to Mississippi Valley State?
Well, it's very easy. One thing I am going to be truthful with our players, and they know I'm very truthful with them. If you played bad, I'm going to tell you. If you played good, I'm going to tell you. There's no love lost. It's my job to get them better. It's my job to get them graduated. So I have to get them better, and I'm going to get them better. And I think going into this week, we will get better.
Another quick question, Coach. A year ago, you came and you said you're going to change the philosophy, you're going to change the thought process, you're going to change the fan base. How do you get those guys more energized and coming to the games and supporting what you're trying to do?
Well, that's a great question. I really haven't conquered of getting people in those stands. I know the young man would love to see everyone in the stands. Would love to see Shell Energy Stadium, which is supposed to be our stadium, our home stadium. I would love to see it packed. But we have to do our part as a school and as a team. We have to win. It's hard to get people in the stands when you're losing. But we're 0-3 right now. Our record has us at 0-3. That's what we are, 0-3. So we have to be able to get people in the stands. Once we start winning, I think people will come to the games.
Well, good luck, Coach. I'm a big-time Chris Dishman fan, Houston Oiler until I die.
You have your season tickets?
They're not playing no more. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Mr. Daniels.
Coach, help me comprehend the statement that this isn't what you signed up for. I don't quite grasp the meaning of that.
Well, Mr. Daniels, let me take it very slow. Okay? When coaches sign up to take a job, I signed up to take this job. I didn't sign up to take a job where our guys or our coaches or even me decided not to go out there and play good football. That's what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about anyone else but myself. So now you got it, right?
I believe so. To follow up on that, though, you and other former professionals that have decided to take on HBCU programs have had a tremendous impact on the culture. And isn't that exactly what you signed up for?
All right, let me say this again, okay? And I'm trying not to be rude to you.
I appreciate that.
You asked me the same question 2 or 3 times. So let me say this again.
Yes,
all right?
sir.
I sign up for one. My job title is head coach. I have to get our players to play each and every game. I also got to get our players to go to study hall. I also have to get our players to graduate. My main focus this year is to get 1,000 APR points. That's my main focus. My main focus this year is to win the West and win the SWAC. Those are my goals. Those are our team goals. Our captains of our teams and our seniors of our team has signed off on those goals. So that's what we're fighting to do. Our preseason is over. Now it's time to get down to business.
I appreciate that, Coach, and we appreciate you being the head coach of Texas Southern University.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, have a great one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Jackson State. Coach T.C. Taylor, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Tuskegee.
Yeah, it was a solid weekend this past weekend for our football team. We were back at home coming off a tough loss over in Hattiesburg against a good Southern Miss football team. We saw they went out and dominated App State this past weekend as well. But Tuskegee came to town. Coach James Kemp brought that team in here. They were ready to play football. My guys did a good job, though, going out there and responding. I thought we were pretty solid in all 3 phases, but with the bye week coming up, we still got a lot of work to do. So we're looking forward to it. Getting back to work on the football field this week. With probably get about 3 practices in before we turn the guys loose on break a little bit and let them get their legs back under them. But solid performance by our football team this past weekend. I'm very pleased.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Good afternoon, Coach Taylor. How are you?
I'm good, Wayne. How you doing?
Doing well, man. So you had the opportunity to get a lot of guys playing time this week.
Mm-hmm.
So with this being able to work on your depth, what are you going to do during this bye week now in terms of making that cohesiveness fit ahead of this game coming up against Southern?
Yeah, great question. This week for us, like I said, we're just going to continue to polish the things that we do well. The chemistry and the stuff that you're talking about, we kind of fixed all that, with the work we do in the summertime. So that's how we kind of knew that those guys were going to be able to make an impact, in a game like this past weekend. We do got a few guys down as far as injuries, but we have total faith in those guys we put on the football field. We played quite a few young guys this past weekend, and they went out there and responded. But it's just to attest to the type of recruiting we do here. We believe in those freshman high school players, those transfers that we bring in here, and they did a good job for us this past weekend.
All right, Coach. Best to you during the bye week. We'll talk next week about that team you're getting ready to play.
All right, thank you. Be safe.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in the Cap City are well. Mr. Lockhart, 14 of 20 for 257, 1-1. He performed. Talk a little bit about his contribution, and then as you move forward into Southern.
Yeah, it was just a deal where the next man was up, next guy up. Locke has been doing a good job throughout the off-season program and everything. You know, him being a true freshman, we didn't know how much we could put on his plate, you know, as far as him getting his first college football start. But he went out there and responded. You know, he did have some mistakes out there, some things we got to get corrected with him. But he has all the tools and the ability you want in a college quarterback. You know, a big kid, big strong arm. You saw him throw the ball around the yard. The players around him believe in him. But he did a good job. He did a good job. It's an important week for him as well. He's in the building. I just seen him earlier. He was headed to the weight room. You know, he'll get some meeting time today. But, you know, a young kid with a load of talent that's got a really bright future.
Good luck with the bye week as you move into Southern.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach TC, how you doing today?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing good. A lot of people on the broadcast were saying that it might be a quarterback battle coming up in the next week, but I'll dispel that. Jared Lockhart coming in as a true freshman reminded me of another freshman that came into the program while you was there in Robert Kent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this game, what did you tell Jared as far as taking control of the game and not letting the big stage get to you?
Well, first thing first, as an offensive staff, I thought we did a great job of making sure we simplified the package for him. Anytime you get a young quarterback, you know, out going in there as a first-time starter in a college football game, you don't want to put too much on his plate. And then the next thing is just, you know, trying to figure out the things he can do well. You know, I think my biggest question, I told the offensive coaches, everybody, you know, I just wanted them to see him take that first hit. You know, and he went up out there, you know, he got hit, got up off the ground and, you know, came back and was making some impressive throws out there. But he did it all. He ran the ball well. He threw the ball well, but he still got a ways to go. As far as the quarterback controversy, you know, we know what Jacoby and Morgan brings to this football team. We see what Jared can bring to the football team. Hell, Parker Stouffer goes out there and ran for a touchdown. You know, all these guys are good football players, you know. So, you know, I got confidence in all four of those quarterbacks we have in the room.
And my second question, offensively, you played 2s and 3s on the offensive side of the ball. And I know we talked about the penalties, trying to clean up the penalties and everything. What is the things you still want to try to get going as far as going into this bye week with penalties?
Yeah, it's just something we got to clean up. But just going back and looking at it, I just took it up on myself to look around the league. These flags are flying everywhere right now, you know. So, but just for us in general, we just got to continue to enforce the discipline when you're talking about the penalties. We got the guys in here yesterday, had a great team meeting. After that, we on the field, you know, we do punishment for the penalties. So it's some things that, you know, we got to continue to work on. But, you know, a couple of them out there was kind of tough to look at. And, you know, I'm going to just leave it at that.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Tia Reed.
Hi, Coach. You all have been really strong defensively throughout your non-conference play. As you get ready to go into SWAC play throughout the bye week, what steps, if any, do you think you guys can take on that side of the ball to get even better and really be ready to go for SWAC play?
Yeah, just talking to Coach Quinn, he knows, and I know as well, we got to continue to create more turnovers. You know, that's the one thing that I think we can improve on, just creating more turnovers on the defensive side. But we got some guys over there really playing at a high clip. Quincy Ivory, Cam Silas, all those guys are playing at a high level. We'll get Jeremiah Williams back in the mix here too soon. So Reed Pulliam, Ashton Taylor, all those guys are playing at a high clip, like you said. So I think just the one thing we could do a little better is just continue to create turnovers and giving the opportunity to the offense to score more points.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Charles Bishop, Dr. Fields, inside the HBC Sports Lab. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Chuck. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to ask a quick question in regards to something you said in post game in terms of still trying to kind of figure out, you know, how to get the ball to guys in certain roles and things of that nature. But going into the bye week, you know, I kind of joke with you in terms of the number of toys that you have. Is it difficult sometimes to kind of, figure out which toy to play with.
I mean, yeah, if all of them shiny, you don't, whatever one you pick up, you in good shape. You got Nate Rembert out there, you got Shamar Savage, you got the guys, Jamil Gardner come out of nowhere on this past weekend for us as well. So we tell those guys, you never know when it's your time to step up. Nobody knew about Jared Lockhart until he stepped on the football this past weekend. So anytime like you say, you got those kind of toys laying around, it's good to have as an offense because it's hard for a lot of times defenses to game plan and take away one guy. If you look at last year, our high productive guy was Jonas Fortillion. So he saw a lot of, cloud coverage over the top. Dupree and Spencer was out there too, but they just found ways to take away, Jonas sometimes in some games, as well as our running back we had last year. So now when you have so many weapons out there on the football field, you saw a host of running backs carry the ball the other day. A bunch of guys stepping up at the receiver position. Kobe Paul made some great plays as well. Yeah, we even tried to design something for Amarion, our freshman receiver. It's good for Jackson State football when you have those kind of weapons. The main thing, like you said, Chuck, is just trying to keep them all happy.
I appreciate that, Coach.
No problem.
This question goes to Ernest Ricks.
Hey, Coach Ernest Ricks, MTMV Sports. Coach, phenomenal game. Congratulations on the win. I want to talk to you about the discipline. You mentioned punishment for the penalties. I want to know what are some of those punishments, and then how'd you come up with that idea, a creative way for team discipline?
Yeah, just letting the players know, those penalties aren't acceptable. So we just do, simple things like, Coach O is in charge of our punishment on Sundays with the penalties and everything, and he has a variety of deals where he put the players through. So I won't say nothing in particular, but it catches their attention, and they are conscious of it and they do not look forward to it. But I'll leave it at that. But it's just something we got to continue to stress. With us having, I think, in 3 games over 30 penalties right now. And again, like I said, it's all over the SWAC right now. A lot of penalty flags are being thrown, but we got to worry about us, and it's something that we have to fix, especially going into conference play. We don't want that to be a problem for us going into these conference games.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Taylor, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Y'all take care.
Thank you. All right, now we'll round it out with Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Once again, please limit your questions to one initial question. We already have several questions there in the queue, so please limit to one initial question. If we got additional time allotted, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good afternoon, Coach.
I'm good. How y'all doing? I'm doing fine this morning. I'm sorry for my tardiness. It was a staff meeting and kind of ran over.
Yep, completely understand, Coach, and appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Eastern Kentucky.
Well, ugly win, but in this profession, in any profession, when you're in competition on the D1 level, you got to take the win because 50% of the guys that played on Thursday, Friday, Saturday was wrong. So we take the win. We learn from it. We find out our mistakes. And we fix our mistakes because it's a copycat league. It's a copycat, just football in general. You got to watch what you don't fix. So we're going to try to fix some of the problems we can. Some of it we can fix it with scheme. Some of it we got to fix it with another body. So we'll make sure we take care of that. And hopefully we can get it done. But like I said, it's on my shoulders. I got to make sure it gets done. And we will. I have faith in the kids and faith in the coaches that we will fix our problems.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach, and I misspoke. The game was against Kentucky State. With that being said, we'll open it up for questions. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Joseph, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
I just want to go right to the final play, the scoring touchdown, the fumble. Coach, I just want to be real. Just want you to say it as real as you can. Your view of the play. Should progress have been stopped on that play?
Well, I haven't heard a whistle in a college game in the last 7 years about stopping the plays. So we teach our kids to play until they say stop verbally. So we're going to keep going because what happens now is that a kid stays up and then a lineman come in and they start pushing forward to get forward progress. So we just kept tugging at the ball. So once he took the ball out and we didn't hear a whistle, it was an easy call. You know, it's their job to stop the play. And the only way these kids know how to stop is for the whistle. So we just kept playing, and it was a great job by Terrell, you know, just to keep playing. We played to the echo of the whistle. We didn't hear a whistle. So, you know, it had to be a fumble. But if they're going to protect the kids, you know, you got to blow a whistle and stop it. But you also got to stop when the linemen come in and they blow into the pile and they try to knock somebody forward. So it'll go two ways, and it happened just to work in our favor.
Appreciate that, Coach, and good luck this week with East
Thank you.
Texas A&M coming in.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Perry, how you doing?
Super fantastic, Coach. I want to talk about what appeared to be the composure of your sideline as these thoroughbreds came into the hole and jumped out on you all early. It appeared that you all did not get rattled and kept your composure to get this W.
Yeah, we said Coach Carey came over to my house after the game and he said, you know, last year we would have found a way to lose this game. You know, he said we'd have found a way to lose. We'd have found a way, you know, to lose the dogfight because we lost so many close games like that. And so my goal this year that I was a different coach, you know, that I don't rattle them because I can rattle them too by me when I'm getting on top of them and getting at their neck. But they kept their composure, and I'm gonna be real with you. That's the difference between a 23-year-old and an 18-year-old. Okay, because that's college football. The older kids are more poised than the young kids. Okay, so that's and our older kids stayed poised. Nobody lost confidence because we said we're gonna fight until the last play. So we kept fighting and we kept fighting. We put ourselves in a hole, and when you put yourself in a hole, you gotta you know good teams got to make their own breaks. So you got to get yourself out the hole. There's nobody throwing us a rope to get us out the hole. But you know what? They were trying to throw you a shovel to make the hole deeper. But nobody threw your rope, so you got to figure out how to get out. And we figured it out as a whole, and we did a good job. But you know, it's just that's part of it, keeping your poise.
Coach, well, it was great to see that maturation, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, Doc. How you doing?
First and foremost, you can't have my blood pressure up like that with that game like that, man. You and my Cowboys have done y'all try to take me out before my birthday next month.
Well, my Saints and my Broncos lost though, so but Terry's at the Saints and Vance is at the Broncos, so we went 0 for 2 in the league. So we're not really talking right now until they can fix it.
But going into the game against Kentucky State, going into third down defense, you gave up 7 out of 15 on third down. Basically, defense stayed on the field too long. What's the things you want to try to fix this week before going into the game against East Texas A&M?
Do your job. Do what you're coached to do. And if you screw up what the coach is telling you to do. That's for the players. For the coaches, make sure that you're delivering your message and they understand your message. So if it means that you have to do an extra walkthrough, do an extra walkthrough. Do you have to change bodies and put another person in there? Do that. So everybody had to come to Jesus meeting yesterday. You know, I had it with the coaches and I had it with the players one-on-one. So everybody understood what I was going through. And I told them, I said, I had a rough week. You know, I lost my uncle on Tuesday, one of my uncles, you know, that I was close to. I lost him on Tuesday, but I couldn't show that reaction because I know at the end of the day, I had a game. I had to play, and that's what he wanted me to do, to stand strong, to be the soldier that I was raised to be. So we had to take accountability, but also we had to take our hat off to Kentucky State because they played a great game. Everything was going their way. And when the kid got kicked with the ball, I'm like, oh, not this, you know, but we kept going and we kept going. So like I said, I appreciate the coaches, appreciate the players, but we got to fix some of the problems.
I appreciate your coaching, man. Sending condolences to you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my mama, younger brother.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, condolences to you and the family. East Texas A&M, a dangerous team, and they're going to come in and try to impose their will. But at the end of the day, it's all about Grambling. Talk about continuing the G-Men and what you guys want to do and get done to get a dub.
The message has to be delivered that they are going to try to impose their will on you. Well, we think the same way that we want to impose our will on it, but we can't pick and choose when we want to do that. If that's going to be a part of our DNA, we got to show up every day in the meeting rooms. We got to show up in the weight room. We got to show up in the training room. We got to show up and we got to do our part and do your job. So we know how they're going to come in here. You can't really get a good judgment off them because they played two Power 5 teams, the SMU team and a Florida State team, two very good football teams. But this team's a very good football team. They just had to go out like anybody else did to go get some financial help for their school. And they went out and got it. So now the playing field is even for these guys. So there's a very good football team. They have they lost a lot of defensive players, but they fixed it with the portal. So we're going to continue to study. We studied them yesterday, and we're going to continue to study them today. But it's like any other team. They're going to be well coached. Well coached. I tell people all the time, I don't know any bad coach, football teams or anything in athletics because coaches put too much time in for things for you think that they're a bad coach. They're well coached, but we're used to that. We got to cut down our mistakes. So yesterday and today, we focusing on us. What do we have to do to get better as a whole? And tomorrow, when we take the practice field tomorrow morning, we have some things I want them to improve on, and I'm sure they will. But we got to play at a level, a level that your opponents can't reach and is unable to play that high level. We got to do that better as a football team, and it starts with me.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Troy White.
Good afternoon, Coach. Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports. I know it was a very tense game with Kentucky State, and there's a lot of things you probably want to work there, but I want to ask about in this tight situation. This game was pretty close going down to the end of the game. Your younger players that have grown up now to be big Tigers, if you will. Mm-hmm. Can you speak to the younger players that have developed into team leaders that may have helped in the changing of this game?
Well, first of all, he's a young player because he's only a sophomore. It's Sept, the quarterback. He's probably one of the most poised kids I've seen at the position in my 28 years of coaching. He's real poised. He's real blunt about, accepting responsibility. I made a bad call Saturday. He came to the sideline. He said, Coach Mick, that's on you. I'm like, absolutely. And I enjoy that because now in practice, he better not talk to me like that. But in the game, yeah, it's on me. But the younger kids have grown up. They have grown up, but they haven't grown up to the point where we think that they're ready to play 35 to 40 snaps. We have I think we have a really good football team here when we show up and we do what the coaches tell them to do. But it was a tight situation, but just going into the overtime, it was the same exact, maybe 2 seconds off situation that we put him in on Thursday, from like the minus 45, something like that, with no timeouts, with a minute 50-something to go on Thursday. And we had success with it. So we try to put you in situations that we know is going to happen in the game, just like the situation when the helmet comes off. Well, we practice that situation with the quarterback, the backup quarterback, getting reps with the starting center. So everything we do here is because football is a situational game, and we try to put them in a situation and they perform well. And we don't win those too many drills against our defense because I tell our players, too many drills for the defense. It was never going to go this fast in the game. And so I take my hat off to my coaches and my players. They did a great job. And you're right, those kids are growing up. And, I just can't wait till their next birthday when they're 21.
All right, Coach. Well, again, thank you for your time. Condolences to you and your family. We're praying for you.
Oh, man, I sure appreciate that. We really do.
Last question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, you referenced the helmet coming off.
Yes, sir.
Was that the correct call? Kentucky State called timeout. Did you have the opportunity to bring Sept back into the game?
Perry, I asked him that, and I thought I could. I thought I could bring him in. And they said, no, he's got to sit out a full play. I said, because I guess they were saying because I didn't use a timeout, but you know, sometimes I'm confused, but I'm trying to be a better head coach when it comes down to the referees, and I'm better. I pray about it all the time because I don't want to disrespect those guys because they work their tail off. So I'm doing a better job, my mother's at the game and she said, I don't want to see you out there acting the food on those people, and I don't want you talking crazy to them. I want you to be respectful to them. So when they said that, I said, okay. But I had faith in Ash, the play that we was going to run. I knew Ash was going to do good, so I know he was going to be fine. But it worked out with Perry, same way. If you can find out for me if that was the right call, let me know. But I thought I could put him back in. But they told me no. So when they told me no, I said, okay, Ash, let's go. So,
Coach, I totally agree with you. If he should be able to come back into the game, and if not, we need to change that rule because the whole purpose is to get the kid off the field.
yes, that's it. And when he went down and the helmet came off, immediately we went into work about, hey, this is one of our situations. So the starting center knew to run to the sideline and start getting snaps. The receiver know, the backup receiver know to start catching passes. So we operated it, but they told us no, that we couldn't bring him in. So Coach Deli, the guy that helps me with the officials, he'll look into it and he'll get an answer for me today.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, just want to send condolences to your family. And as always, thanks so much for your time. Yes, sir.
Hey, good luck to all you guys this week. Keep plugging away, buddies.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September the 15th. And just a reminder that all SWAC football head coaches media sessions are digitally archived on the